ASPN here. I'm Ash, and this is Jack. Today we have special guest Andre Magaro. So, Andre, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, guys, thank you very much for having me on today. I'm excited to be along and be a part of what you guys are doing here. So I am one of the play-by-play broadcasters for the Bowie Baysox. They are the AA affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. I've been a proud Orioles affiliate since 1993, so in the 31st season there. I'm in my second season with Bowie, and essentially I'll do pretty much half of the play-by-play broadcasting. I have a partner, Gareth Kwok, who I'll call the games with. We'll call the home games together, do some traveling as well on the road with the team. Outside of that, we handle a lot of the media relations responsibilities. So things like player and coach availability for interviews, things like that we'll handle. Along with any, rosters or things that need to be distributed out to the public as well. And then aside from that, I also do some graphic design for the front office, helping them with their digital marketing and the other things that are baseball related that you guys will see on our social media platforms, like a lineup graphic and any kind of player accomplishments and things like that.
All right, so thank you for that introduction. Now, we have some questions for you, so I'll start off. Who was your favorite player to announce and why?
Man, that's a good first question. Really, they're all very fun to announce. I've been doing this for a couple years now, and I've been blessed and fortunate enough to not only get to do something that I love every day for a living, and get to interact with all of them, but also be in this Orioles system. Obviously, it's a very exciting time for Baltimore and its farm system as well with what they've been able to accomplish. And it's a great group of guys. It has been for both seasons. So I really think, there's a lot of enjoyment with everybody. I've been fortunate enough to see some guys who are contributing up at the big league level right now. Heston Kjerstad started last year down in Bowie, and he's had a good few stints here with the Orioles. Kobe Mayo just got promoted. Him and Jackson Holiday were a big part of our team last season. So those guys are obviously really exciting players, but I mean, there's a lot of fantastic players even down there right now that are just really fun to broadcast, and it makes it really exciting. You get to go to work and do something that I love every day.
Nice.
Yeah, Andre, who's your favorite player to interview and why on the current team? I know you've got lots of personality on that team with Silas and Sam Basalo and just many other guys personality wise.
Yeah, I mean, they're all fun. It's really hard to just pick one. It's a great group of guys, and they have really great character, and they have fun stories both on and off the field. So a lot of personality. Man, it's hard to pick just a few. A couple of our pitchers are really fun to talk to. Dylan Hyde and Ryan
Yeah.
Long are always very interesting, and they have really great journeys through baseball that fans can look into a little bit more as well. But yeah, really everybody. I mean, there's a great conversations with all of those guys every single day.
Yeah, I met Dylan Hyde at the Adley Rutschman and Grayson Rodriguez bobblehead game. It was the autograph session on the concourse.
Right.
I met them, and then I was sitting right next to the bullpen, so he came up and actually tossed me a ball, and we talked for a couple minutes about his story and all that. So that was a really cool experience with Dylan.
That's awesome. Yeah, Dylan's great. I really love working
He
with him.
is. He's a great guy.
So, what's your favorite slash really cool game that you announced?
Oh man, there's a lot of games. Long season in the minors too. It's not quite the 162 in the MLB ranks, but I guess a few that have stood out to me. We had a no-hitter that was thrown, a combined no-hitter. Chase McDermott, one of the top pitching prospects for the Orioles, was involved in that. That was last year. So that was a lot of fun. Even this season, we had a couple of walk-off games in April that were a lot of fun to broadcast. And we just had our Navy night, actually, last homestand. And essentially what that is we have a partnership with the U.S. Naval Academy where their freshman class will come in after their summer orientation and take in the game. And they'll fill up most of the upper seating bowl out in front of us in the press box. And it's always a really great atmosphere and a really special one. So I've been fortunate enough to broadcast two of those Navy nights. And those are also some of the most fun games of the year, for sure.
Yeah, Andre, this is probably going to sound like a weird question, but obviously I think it's a perfect time considering Sunday night or Sunday was just the Gunnar Henderson bobblehead game. Do you like it when it's a sellout crowd, or do you like it when it's more like a not a sellout, when you can hear yourself think sometimes on big plays or full counts or bases loaded?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always excited just to be able to throw on that headset every day and get to do what I do. I think that's something that you never want to take for granted in this industry or anywhere. So I'm very fortunate in that regard. But yeah, I love the big crowds. It's a lot of fun to see them getting into it and having a great time. We've had some great crowds this season. In particular, and a handful of games as well. We talk about the Navy Nights. We had a game before the 4th of July. That was our biggest crowd of the season, and a lot of really big crowds at Prince George's Stadium the last 2 years that have made it really fun, even on the road too. When you're on the road and the visiting team has a big crowd that gets into it, it makes it a lot of fun for sure.
So, who was your inspiration when you were young to get into sports broadcasting?
Yeah, there were a lot of guys for sure. I think I kind of always realized that broadcasting was something that I wanted to do for a really young age. I wish I'd be taking the initiative that you two are taking with this project that you're doing. It's really great that you guys are out here and doing stuff like this and really getting that head start and getting that experience. And it's a great product that you guys have put together here. But for me personally, I think guys that I grew up listening to, I grew up in central Pennsylvania. So I grew up around a lot of the Philadelphia Phillies, especially those good teams that were into back-to-back World Series in the early 2000s. So, at first Harry Kalas and then Tom McCarthy, eventually taking over for them. Those were two guys that I got to listen to a lot, baseball centric. But even a lot of the guys now, I listen to the Orioles a lot on the radio because they have a fantastic crew. I mean, Jeff Arnold is one of the best. I know you guys have been fortunate enough to get to speak with him. So he's always awesome to just flip on, hear how the Orioles are doing and get to listen to him. Even guys like Joe Davis that are, calling Dodgers games and calling the World Series now, it's a really good time for baseball broadcasting because there's a lot of super young, super talented voices out there. And it's been great to get to listen to them and to be a part of it at the minor league level here.
Mm.
Yeah, I think what you said was awesome. And especially growing up in central Pennsylvania, I know you said you were a Phillies guy, but did you associate with the Pirates at all?
No, I grew up in a Philadelphia sports household, so it was all Philly everything. I grew up close to Harrisburg, so it's about the middle of the state, and it's pretty
Yeah.
pretty evenly divided between Philly and Pittsburgh, and there's even some Baltimore and DC sports fans in there. But I was always a Philly guy growing up.
I so do you have a announcing partner and who is it?
Yeah, so I'll ring back around to this. So Gareth Kwok is my broadcast partner. Similar to me, younger guy. It's his first year with the team, but he's awesome. Him and I have a lot of fun doing the games together, and he does a lot of the similar stuff that I do as well, helping out with the media relations and the daily media materials that need to be distributed and working with outside media and stuff like that. So he's been a rock star, but him and I have been working together this past year, and it's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
So what's your favorite away stadium to go to? You've said you've loved Prince George's Stadium and you touched on some of the away crowds, but which stadium is your favorite double A visiting?
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stadiums. I think each of them are unique for different reasons. There's one of the newer ballparks in the league is Duncan Park up in
Hmm.
Hartford. The Yard Goats, who are the Rockies Double A affiliate, got to go there in April, and that's just a beautiful park and a great place to go catch a game. So it's a lot of fun. For there, like they have a great ballpark. But even like some of the older places, we went to Reading this season, which is another
Yep.
cross divisional team. They're the Phillies Double A, and they've been one of the longest affiliated teams in all of minor league baseball. So even though they've made some renovations, they have a brand new event center in the outfield. They have a pool in right field towards a party area. So they made a lot of renovations in recent years there, but just the history that they have etched onto the walls. Guys like Mike Schmidt, I mean, we're playing for that team beyond just the last crop of Phillies that went together and won a World Series in 2008. So that was really cool. I mean, really every stadium has it's either a newer stadium that's really well put together and really nice venue, or it's someplace with a lot of history. We went down to the Diamond in Richmond on the 4th of July, and they packed that place. It's one of the older stadiums, and it's a lot of fun to be there as well. So really, there's a lot of great options for sure.
Yeah. Reading, I'm I go up to Pennsylvania a lot, so I've stopped at Reading Stadium many times. I was lucky to see in the late 2010s era, 2018, 2019, to see Bryson Stott, Alec Bohm play there. And that's just cool because when they got to the big leagues, I was like, I know these guys from somewhere. And it's kind of cool, especially wanting to be an announcer, I know it helps. Obviously, what you're doing in 2 to 3 years, I'm sure you'll see some of your guys from Bowie, either from this year or last year. Obviously, you said you've already seen Holiday go up there. You've seen Kobe Mayo, some other guys, but that's just got to be cool to cover these guys and then see, wow, their dreams come true.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, they are all such hard workers. All of those guys you talked about, Chase McDermott got a start up in the big leagues this season, Cade Povich as well. All of those guys are such hard workers. So to see their work pay off is really cool to see. And to get a front row seat for that, even just a little piece of it, the AA level is truly a blessing. And I'm so proud and happy for all of those guys.
Here's a big question that I want to ask you. What is your biggest goal to accomplish in the sports broadcasting business? Is it to go to the bigs or is it something else?
That's a great question. I don't know if I set concrete goals like that. I know a lot of people do, and maybe at some point I'll eventually get there, but I haven't been thinking as much about, do I want to get to the big leagues? What do I want to do with my broadcasting career? I think, it's easy to get caught up in that. But something that I really try to do as well is be present in the moment and just try to be better every single day. Because at the end of the day, you are a sum of the parts. So for me to get to go to work every day and do this for a living, just trying to be appreciative of that moment and that day and think, okay, how can I get a little bit better today? If I can continue to do that, maybe I'll look up at the end of it all and I'll have accomplished something really cool. But I think for me, the big picture goals just haven't been at the forefront of my vision too much right now. And I've just kind of taken it day by day and really just tried to enjoy the moment and what we're doing.
Nice.
Yeah. So what were you saying, Ash?
I said, okay, nice. So just enjoy the moment and be in the moment.
Right.
So winding down here, one of the big questions, obviously, in the podcast industry now, when you're watching podcasts this month and obviously next couple of weeks, one of the big questions is, if you were to play in an Olympic sport, what would that be? But since we're a podcast with broadcaster, we're going to ask you, if you had to broadcast an Olympic sport or two, what would they be, since there's no baseball in the Olympics?
That's a good one. I've been tuning in a lot to the different sports. I would definitely have to do my homework before I approach some of these sports, but I think I would want to try something that isn't exactly the prototypical most popular sport, right? Obviously you still have the popular sports in there like basketball. I called a little bit of volleyball in college, which would be cool, but I'd love to try my hands at like a rowing or one of those more, sports that are on this platform in the Olympics and maybe you don't see on TV every day. I think that would be a lot of fun. And it would be cool to embrace the challenge. Obviously, you got to do your research. You got to know what you're talking about. It's always the biggest thing as a broadcaster. But I would love to put the time in and get to try something like that. That would be a lot of fun.
So I'm going to ask one of my final questions. Did you play any sports when you were young?
I did. So I played baseball and soccer, probably up until high school. I stuck with soccer. And then I went baseball full time in high school. And it was a lot of fun. It was good. I was a corner outfielder. I had some fun with it. Yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so this is going to be the last question here to end today's podcast. We asked you who one of your favorite players was to interview. That's going to be the same question here, but different. Who has been your favorite player on a rehab assignment to see? I'm pretty sure Austin Hayes stopped by this year, correct?
Yeah, Hayes was there. He was really cool as well. Also got to see Kyle Bradish a couple of times the last 2 years.
That's right.
Down in Bowie a couple of times. They're all really cool guys. Probably, if I had to think of a moment that stood out, it would actually be Cedric Mullins. He rehabbed for us last August, and he actually robbed a home run in straightaway center field, and that was like a really cool moment. To be part of. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But no, they've all had great moments. Bradish is awesome, and it's great every time you get to watch him pitch and go about his craft. And then Austin Hayes was a rock star for us. Hit a couple of home runs and had a really fun time with it down in Bowie. So they're all great guys, but those are just some moments that stick out to me for sure.
Andre, thanks for joining us today. We look forward to having you on once again later in the season or next season. So thanks, Andre. And Ash, do you want to wrap this one up?
Yep. This is Ash.